Please enable location services on your device and try again. We're sorry, due to content restrictions, this stream is not available in your area right now. Please try again later. If you feel this is an error, please enable location services on your device and try again. We're sorry, due to content restrictions, this stream is not available in your area right now. Please try again later. If you feel this is an error, please enable location services on your device and try again.
Jazz could sign a free agent next year, I believe, into that trade exception. So
yes,
so that is a pretty interesting move because it's July 7th of next year is when it expires. So it's a piece that most likely would be used next year in free agency.
So if they just use the $13 million of it, then they have the luxury of being able to do that.
Yeah. So pretty interesting move there. It continues a trend this offseason of the Jazz moving the veterans other than Lowry out. And it is now a full-fledged youth movement for the Utah Jazz.
Full-fledged youth movement with talent. And I think we can't emphasize that enough because we watched them play with their credentials coming into this season. They look good, but it's with talent.
And there'll be no hiding. Like these guys either going to be able to play or they're not going to be able to play. Like there's no, when you're having a bad night, there's no Colin Sexton down the end of the bench to bail you out. There's no John Collins to bail you out if you can't handle the defensive matchup. Kyle Filipowski is having a bad matchup on a given night. He's got to work his way through it, right? Like there's going to be no other choice on that bench. Will Hardy, the trick for Will Hardy is kind of lacks the hammer a little bit. These guys are, it's going to be hard for Will Hardy to say, well, if you don't do this, you don't play, because I don't know who's going to play instead.
And that was said last year.
Right. We saw that on a multiple of occasions. So thanks to John. He was always a pleasure to deal with, good energy, always fun to be around. But we also heard Austin Ames say in the press conference, in his intro press conference, we're not doing the thing where we have who's playing tonight, who's not playing tonight. We're not manipulating games. We're looking, our players want to play to win and have hope. I think wins are going to be hard, but you can still build a hope in that process. Oklahoma City, we're watching tonight's the best example of that, where there had to be a moment where they looked at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, oh, he's really good, and they looked at Jalen Williams, he looked at Chet Holmgren, like, oh, we can do this together. That's what the Jazz are hoping to build, is this group moving forward in a manner that gives them. Keontae looks down the road like, oh, Cody, you got better this year. Okay, we're going to be okay. We can do this. Oh, Ace Bailey, you're going to be okay in a year or two. Like, we're going to be able to do this together. We're building a core, and that's what the Jazz are looking to do now.
And they're going to be able to do that with playing time, having a look at these players. I'm not just in practice. These are going to be game time minutes, and in certain situations where you can make a decision, where you can make that judgment on a player and find out exactly, what they're good at for the most part.
There's a chance that we open the season with a 9-man rotation with Lowry, Markkanen, and as a veteran on that 9-man rotation, and Walker Kessler in his 4th year is the only 2 players that played more than 2 seasons in the NBA.
And if you look at it, you're absolutely right about that. And if you look at that situation there, David, where our backup center was John Collins last year for the most part. And so if that's going to be a problem for the Jazz this year, will Lowry be able to play that backup center position for a short period of time, or, how are they going to handle that? That will be the only position, I think, that's not totally, I don't visualize that yet.
Yeah, Yusuf Nurkic very easily can step into that, who they acquired in the Colin Sexton deal. But also the other question is, what position is Kyle Filipowski? Yeah. Like, they've got to figure out, is Kyle Filipowski a 4 or a 5?
Yeah, depending on what team you play, yes, he could be a 5 that night.
The other night he had an incredible, in our first summer league game, he had this incredible offensive game showing what he could do so terrifically as an offensive 5 in that game, conducting, running the offense, doing all that. But I'd also say it was probably a night where he didn't have a very good defensive night as a 5. It may turn out that he is defensively better equipped to be a 4, but offensively he's better equipped to be a 5, and he's got to try to figure that out. Oklahoma City has defeated Philadelphia 89-78. That game has just finished. So
really took control in the second half.
We get about a 10-minute gap, and then the Jazz will come out and warm up here in about 10 minutes is usually how it works, and then we'll get going. So we are probably still another 15 to 18 minutes away from the Jazz tipping off against Memphis, and we'll see how that plays out. Jazz, only John Tonje is the only notable player not available for the Jazz, sprained an ankle. The veteran out of Wisconsin, veteran college player, 6 years. So he is not available, but otherwise the Jazz have pretty much everyone on their roster will go tonight. So we will see Ace Bailey. We will see Walt Clayton. We will see Kyle Filipowski. We will see Isaiah Collier. We will see Bryce Sensabaugh. We will see Cody Williams. And Elijah Harkless, who had a nice impact in the ball game the other night, who's trying to find a roster spot on this team right now. The Jazz have, I believe, signed 2 two-way contract players, have not signed their third yet, and have some roster spots available. So Harkless, probably the one who's got the most on the line right now. Tonje could be one of those two-way contracts, and then can Harkless get going? We're going to tip it off in 16 minutes, I'm being told. So if you need to go get a soda or something, feel free, and then come back and join us in 16 minutes or so here. Ron's getting... How are you, Nick? I'm doing great, man. You getting golfing? Okay, good. I'm glad. If you're going to come out here, you might as well. Nick Nurse, 76ers head coach, wandering by. Hey, Darren, how are you? You want to throw a headset on and say hi, or are you just going to walk away? All right. Okay, appreciate it. Darren Williams stopping by. Hey, Greg. Greg Foster will be joining us later on the broadcast, from what I hear. Nice to see him. It's Old Home Week. We had Carlos and Darren hanging out with the kids the other day. And fun. Nice to see all of them. Jazz coaching staff kind of made their camp. Keontae's here tonight. It's always interesting to see which Jazz player. Keontae's been here for quite a while. He's been here for the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, going through pretty extensive boot camp work for the Jazz, as they have really worked on some strength and things. And then even when we were at practice the other day, practice ended out, and then Keontae was the one on the floor shooting for about 90 minutes afterwards.
So if you hear players say, well, I got about 500 shots in a session or in a practice, I mean, that's by design, because they get to the point, David, and I was watching that little session that he had out there on the floor, where you have, if they don't make like the 5 in a row or something like that, 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 is not good. They have to make 5 in a row from certain spots on the floor, and otherwise they don't move. So if you're having a bad shooting day, I mean, you easily can get up 500 shots
right
in a session.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. We were watching that drill, and it did seem as though the drill was that he had to make 5 in a row. Is that right? It looked like to you in a spot, and
these are threes for the most part.
No, they were all threes. Nobody shoots anything but a 3. You don't shoot anything but a 3 anymore in warm-ups when you're warming up.
Yeah.
The only guy who does that is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Jazz taking the floor. Memphis on the floor today as well. So here's some of the interesting matchups we'll have in this ball game today. Jalen Wells started 74 games last year for Memphis. He'll be playing the 2 guard. So in all likelihood, we could have Bryce Sensabaugh matched up against Jalen Wells. Wells, a very good defensive player. It will be interesting to see if Bryce can have as good a game as he had the other night shooting the ball. Or the other side of it will be that we'll have a strong matchup with either Cam Spencer, who is the wing player that they really would like to have replace Luke Kennard, who they lost in free agency to Atlanta. And Cam Spencer will go up against Cody Williams. The two of them kind of similar. Cody was obviously the 10th pick of the 2024 draft, and Cam was the 53rd pick. But Cam, older, played on the national championship team at UConn, 25 years old, so grown man. played 25 games last year, whereas Cody's still just 20 years of age, 5-year age difference in that matchup. You know, it's funny you talk about that. I say this often about the 5-year age gap, and I can hear some fans like, yeah, whatever. Okay, well, it was only 2 years ago. That would have been a senior in high school against an 8th grader, right? Like,
That's crazy.
right? Like, for Cody, like, only 2 years ago was he in guy, you know. So I think you have to understand that is still a pretty big difference when it's 25 to 20. And frankly, it's a pretty big difference when you see it as 32 versus 27. Like, and then when you really see grown men in the NBA. So that'll be an interesting one. And then the other one that will be Ace Bailey against G.G. Jackson. And those are two pretty similar players. G.G. Jackson, 6'9", 215. Ace, 6'8", 210. And when G.G. Jackson will be in his second year in the league, he reclassified to, he's only 20. Ace is 18. And they're actually very similar kind of players and how they play. G.G. Jackson slid to the second round after his year in South Carolina. Pretty unabashed shooting. Frankly, Ace Bailey was pretty unabashed with his shooting the other night. So we've got 3 really interesting matchups tonight in the guard line and the small forward line in this matchup.
If I could go back to Spencer there for a minute and watching him the other night, you could just see it, and I got in my notes here, shooter. And you could just see that the experience and the growth that he's had out there on the floor opposed to the other players that he was playing against. He shot the basketball out, and I like the way he's set up to get his shots off, and you could just see and I didn't realize until now that he was that much older, but you can see how polished he is.
Svi Mykhailiuk of the Jazz in the building as well. I don't know if he has his Sweet Greens with him. We have Sweet Greens in Salt Lake yet. That's like his favorite place in the world. So Svi there talking some of the Jazz front office, talking to Sean and the crew. Interesting we'll see how the rest of the lineup and the matchups go in this one. Zion Poulin started the other night for them. He's not as experienced, so Isaiah Collier would have that edge. And then Armando Bacot was their center. He's interesting because he set the NCAA record for most double-doubles while at North Carolina, 5 years playing at North Carolina. We'll see if he goes up against Kyle. They've played each other a bunch of times in the Duke-North Carolina battle, so those two guys know each other quite well in their games against each other.
You know, we used to be able to see the floor pretty good, but we got a security guard.
That's not a security guard. That's
team security.
That's a tree. That's a redwood. Like, am I in Big Sur? Are we in Big Sur here? What is this like? Is this like a 150-year-old tree in front of us?
Look at those arms, man.
Dude, what is your chest size? You ever measured? What's your chest size? You need to do that. I tell stories about you, and I like data. I need data to be able to tell appropriate stories about you.
Look at those arms.
He might be the largest upper body of any person I've ever met.
Yeah. I've been in the gym when he's there all the time. I mean, on the road, he's like eating weights.
Eating weights.
Yeah. Big fella. Awfully strong.
Javier is our security guard we're speaking of. His family moved to Utah. One of them has graduated, I think, gone to North Texas. The other, I think, on their way there as well. Daughter was a track star. Give you a little rundown. There's the great Mike Williams.
So I got to point out that if some of our listeners see Javier, then you would think, man, he was a football player. But he told me he was the MVP in basketball. Yeah, but it was 8th grade.
But then we saw him take a shot during a game once.
Oh, my goodness.
Or during a practice once for money. And I would say that the weight training has not helped the flexibility. I mean, he's so big, I'm not sure he could touch his nose.
Yeah. You know, that's a good point.
He is the biggest man I've seen. Like, he is. He is
solid.
Jazz coaching staff into their seats. Players warming up. We're getting close to tip-off in about 6 or 7 minutes here. The captains for tonight's game are Will Clayton Jr. and Cam Spencer of Memphis. All right, Ron, let's go through some of the things you saw from each of the players, and then following that up, like what you actually want to see out of them. Because I'll be honest with you, I read everyone's commentary about the game the other night, both fans and fellow media members. I think I saw almost everyone's performance opposite to what the masses said. I'll start with Bryce Sensabaugh. Everyone talked about his 5 threes. I knew he could shoot. He shot 42% in the NBA last year. I saw 5 turnovers and too many missed defensive assignments. I don't think the coaching staff probably left the game thinking that Bryce Sensabaugh was on top of his game the way they want him to be as a third-year player. His offense was awesome, but I knew that.
Now, some of the fans, what they look at is how well it's always on the offensive end, and not so much how many mistakes you make on the defensive end of the floor, or what position are you qualified to defend, which means can he defend a small forward? Off the dribble, I don't think so. I think if he's going to play that forward position, he has to be sometimes a power forward, and he has to learn how to box out and rebound. I mean, if he does those things at that position, he could create havoc for a power forward on the opposite team because he can stretch the floor and shoot the threes. But I noticed in that ball game, he got a couple of threes, I think, in transition, which was very good.
This guy's gonna. Bryce Sensabaugh has a bullish NBA future ahead of him because of the way he can shoot the basketball, and if he can continue to do that, and then add in all the other things, this is what the Jazz, this guy's a bona fide NBA rotation. But the other one that a lot of people thought struggled in the game when you looked at the box score was Isaiah Collier, and the box score showed a struggle. I'm not sure I thought he struggled as much as the box score. I wonder, watching him, did the coaches say, hey, we don't need the 34-point night in the G League out of you tonight. We need you to run the show, get everyone involved, get us in our offense, play the game, take your opportunities. 1 of 7 0 for 3 from 3 is not great, but plus 10, the best plus minus of anyone on the floor. I pressure defense a great deal of the night. I thought that was a little bit more of what the coaching staff was probably looking for out of Isaiah Collier, and probably not as worried about some of those offensive numbers.
I totally agree with you with everything you just said. Plus, David, the shot selection that he had in the ball game were the type of shots that you want to see him take. And this team wants to play fast. Did he help that to the point where Sensabaugh running the floor gets an open 3 because of the way they're pushing the ball up the floor?
And he made 2 exquisite passes. That one where he skipped the rock across the ocean to Kyle Filipowski, and another one where he drove and brought it back out for, I think it might have been a Bryce 3, were absolutely elite. Let's go with another veteran. What did you see out of Kyle Filipowski?
Filipowski, I thought struggled early in the ball game, but it started to come around. And one big thing that I'm probably going to continue to worry about is strength down in the paint. I mean, he's 6'10", and I would not like to see him get pushed around as much. I mean, sometimes guys that size, they just depend on, okay, I'm 6'10", I can rebound without, having to box out guys, and I'd like to see him do that a little bit better. Meaning this, and how often did we talked about rebounding out of your area? You know what I mean? Just not letting the ball come to you. Go get the basketball. Like to see a little bit more of that.
Well, and Bona, who was same year as him, drafted a few picks after him from UCLA, was really quite a battle for him in that game. I think that was a physical matchup that's a really good test. Armando Bacot may be equally as good, 6'11", 240. They know each other well from college when Bacot was at North Carolina. So I think there's a chance this is going to be another really good test to see out of Kyle Filipowski, whether he can play the 5 defensively, physically, down low, and rebound.
Okay, it won't be like that every ball game. It might be some games where he has an advantage because of his quickness and his ability to move and at that position, but you still got to work on, as you just mentioned, strength around the basket. I mean, and that's, I hope that doesn't haunt him all year to the point where he just they start targeting him. And
we go back through the ages, by the way. Armando Bacot and North Carolina played Duke on one of the last regular season games of the final of the 2024 season. In that ball game, Kyle Filipowski had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. 8 of 18 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, so he should come in with some real confidence in this matchup. Bacot in that game had just 9 points and 8 rebounds, going 4 of 11. So that's the most recent matchup between these two. They matched up earlier in the year. North Carolina got Duke in both those matchups. This one was in February in Chapel Hill, and Filipowski again had a monster game, 22 points and 5 rebounds along the way in that ball game for Kyle. So Kyle having a monster offensive game, and then on the defensive side of Baycott of that game, answered back. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. So in that ball game, Baycott got the better of him. So this is a fun matchup. They played for 2 straight years against each other. So there's a little backstory right there for these two guys. We'll see how they react and see each other in this setting and get going. And North Carolina getting the better of Duke in those last 2 matchups, where Duke got the better of North Carolina the previous year. So in their 4 matchups, Filipowski's won 2, or North Carolina won 2, and Duke won 2, but North Carolina won the last 2 in that matchup. Kyle getting the wins his freshman year. Kyle, by the way, 22 points and 13 rebounds in his last year. In his freshman year against Baycott, Baycott had 17-11. So these guys have really gone head-to-head quite a bit.
So that's interesting there, David. I'm wondering if Kyle was able to stretch the floor against him. We'll see how that works tonight. Maybe that's going to be the key in this matchup against each other, if Kyle stretches the floor.
Well, also worth noting in that year which Duke won those games, Derek Lively was also on the roster. So Kyle was likely playing the 4 in those matchups, where the year prior, it was probably a little bit of the other way. Jazz starters tonight will be Collier and Cody Williams. Ace Bailey, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Kyle Filipowski will do it for the Jazz. Kyle wearing the little thing on his nose that he had on the other night as well to clear some of the breathing passages. Sometimes these things can be discovered. I can't remember. There was the player, Ron, who we had who used to always would run and you look like gasping for air, and then they found out he had a complete, you're on an NBA roster, they take the time, they find out he had a nasal issue, and they cleared it out, and suddenly he had a completely different career and ability to play. So sometimes these things
get overlooked in college, and
right.
you get here and you, find out things.
And the Memphis Grizzlies starting lineup is as expected. Spencer with Wells, G.G. Jackson, Baycott at center, and their 5th starter tonight will be Pullen, just as we anticipated. So this will be a lot of fun. Great matchups here on the floor as the Grizzlies and the Jazz. And the Grizzlies are physical defensively. They are going to get after you and get into you. That's what their summer league signature has been. That's what they did the other night in their matchup against Oklahoma City. And Collier gets the opening tip. He's picked up by Pullen, as we anticipated. Cody Williams being guarded by Spencer. Bailey being guarded by G.G. Jackson. And Bailey comes to get at the top. Puts it on the crossover. Drives on Jackson. Hard to the rim. Hanging back. Shoots up an air ball. And the rebound to Baycott. Spencer. Pick and roll. Going down to the basket. Baycott. Cody Williams trying to defend with his improved strength. And a little hook shot is up and in.
Yeah, we noticed the other night that those 2 guys were very physical down in the paint. Played up above the rim, too.
Bailey pops out. Coming off a 3 of 13 shooting night. Gives to Sensabaugh. Step back 3 over the top. The defense is good. Bryce Sensabaugh.
That I like.
Kid can really shoot it.
Yes.
Bryce was 7 of 13, 5 of 8 from 3 the other night. But that's not a catch and shoot. That's an off the bounce creation. That's a big deal. Bryce swipes down with the right hand on Pullen and fouls him. Zion Pullen's out of Pleasant Hills, California. Played at Cal State Riverside as well as Florida. He played 3 games last year in the NBA and played a total of 3 minutes.
He's a veteran.
He got a minute a game. He doesn't have to carry a backpack for that. Jackson working on Bailey. 2 similarly sized guys. Top to Pullen. Drives hard with the left hand, and Isaiah Collier puts the right shoulder into the chest of Pullen, and that's a foul.
Well, he guessed right, just not established.
Inbound to Wells. He'll take the 12-footer on the left side. Fading back, miss it. Rebound tipped out of bounds off of Cody Williams. Baycott got on the inside. Jazz coach Scott Morrison in charge tonight. Got the win the other night. Spencer catches, shoots, buries a 3 on the left side. That's their best shooter. Cam Spencer shot 36% from 3 last year. And the pressure defense of Memphis forcing a turnover as the Jazz bring it into the front court and have a hard time doing so. Turn it over. 5-3 Memphis. Jazz staff sitting in the front row watching, and players watching this one. Left corner, Spencer again, slow close, and he's wide open for three. And he makes it. Shot 44% for UConn. Collier, 28 pick of the first round a year ago, played a single year at USC. Drives hard with the left hand, finds Filipowski, right side three offline. Rebound comes down to Memphis. Poulin gets knocked to the ground, rolls the ball out, and it comes to Wells, wearing the ponytail on top of his head in the navy blue uniform with light blue coloring. Swings to Poulin, hands to Spencer. A third three and a third answer. And Scott Morrison calls timeout. And he's going to have the Dalton Connect conversation with the Utah Jazz. That guy right there is the hottest guy in the building. Let's guard him.
You start going underneath screens on him, he's going to let it fly.
Cam Spencer, 53rd pick of the 2024 draft, making a name for himself, saying, I'm ready to take that role with the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies at 11-3 here on Salt Lake City Summer League Basketball.
Helping your money do more means putting yourself in the financial driver's seat. Oh, yeah. And there's no better or more literal way to do that than with a low-rate auto loan from America First Credit Union. Plus, for a limited time, when you finance your new vehicle with America First, you'll enjoy no payments for 90 days. And that means getting more mileage out of every cent you spend. So make your money move. Head to AmericaFirst.com to apply for pre-approval of your low-rate auto loan today. Eligibility, terms, conditions, and creditworthiness apply. Subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Home isn't just a place. It's a state of mind. Like curling up in a comfy chair while it's cold outside. With a warm drink, or maybe even a wine in hand. As you watch the world go by outside your window.
Short rib.
Good afternoon, this is your captain speaking.
Which is why at Delta, our people do our best to make you feel at home. Refill? Long before you get there. Delta, keep climbing.
Hey, Jazz fans. Basketball is back, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets, so you can be a part of all the courtside celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Jazz games, the Utah Hockey Club, or to any other local live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the Utah Jazz. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
Very much. 11-3 start from Memphis by Cam Spencer's 3 threes. Spencer, probably the oldest guy that will play tonight, 25 years old, but Armando Bacot is as well. So Memphis has two grown men, 25-year-old Spencer and 25-year-old Bacot. Bailey trying to bring it up the front court. Shakes G.G. Jackson with a move that gets the crowd to ooh and ah. Brings it over to Collier. Collier, hard left-hand drive into the paint. Steps back, 8-footer on the left side, goes 5, and it's an air ball. Wells on the run. Driving at Cody Williams. Reaching in from the right side and grabbing arm is Collier. That's his second foul.
I've been watching Cody there as well. Defensively, he looked pretty good.
So the big question, Ron, are you seeing noticeable strength difference for Cody Williams?
Noticeable visual, yes. As time goes on, we'll see how if he gets moved around and how much contact he's able to endure.
We have seen Ace Bailey here in the opening 3 minutes twice put the ball on the floor, cross someone over, and shake G.G. Jackson. I don't know how good a defender G.G. Jackson is. Should I be excited about that? Like he has that kind of handle that he can shake someone?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be something that's going to look forward to him doing. And, and I had some questions I had before the ball game. Can he be that kind of a player? I mean,
Bailey, left wing 3 off the Sensabaugh. Give is good. Ace Bailey. A lot of skills there, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skills. Because that's a pretty quick release to get his feet set to get that one off. Here's Jackson. Looks a little bigger and older than GG, but they're not greatly different. 20 and 18. Cool. Baseline drive. He stepped on the sideline to get there. Right in front of Torian Prince and Rich Cho.
So that catch and shoot there by Bailey was just a rhythm shot, right? What you like to see out of someone like that. Um, a lot of times I look at where they catch the ball too. I mean, and you give the basketball to a player like that in the pocket where it should be.
Kyle Filipowski breaks the full court pressure, goes to the rim, shoves off to the right hand, misses the left-hander, gets it back, misses again, gets it back a third time, and he's fouled. Ace Bailey comes over to talk to Scott Morrison about something, gives him a smile and a chuckle. Kyle fending off nicely with that right hand, got his left hand up, couldn't finish it, was able to go back up for it. He'll go to the line. His free throws looked great the other night.
And I'm watching the NBA Finals, and I'm wondering if next year these players are going to be able to bump and shoot as much. I mean, if they're really over-exaggerating it now to the point where it's a total football block, to separate themselves to shoot a step-back jumper or something like that.
Well, I thought they were letting the defense maul people, so I hope the offense is allowed to maul back to create a shooting window.
Yeah, that's true.
Filipowski splits the free throws. I accidentally jinxed it. Left side Jackson through the lane to the rack, finishes with a left hand. Jazz went to full court pressure and they broke it. 15-7 Memphis. Collier being pressured by Poulin as he comes to the front court. Isaiah wearing black and yellow Nikes crosses over in the lane, powers through and scores it. He lowered the left shoulder, burst through the line of scrimmage, broke a tackle, got green grass and laid it up and in.
So he looks bigger. He looks stronger. I asked him about, was his chest bigger, and he said he thought it was. So I'm wondering if he's gained 5, 6, 7 pounds from last year.
It's a big body. He was a big boy to start.
Yeah, so he looks very much stronger.
I heard a great story about Isaiah Collier today. I hope my buddy Jarvis Davis doesn't mind me. One of my guys who works with me at Locked On, we had our weekly call. He's from Atlanta. I was like, you should be your favorite team. We got Collier, we got Kessler, we got Paley. He's like, Collier goes to my church, and the pastor brought him up this year, and he talked about his year. And so Isaiah was raised in church and is a favorite son of everyone. And Jarvis tells me he's just got really good people around him. Left side three is up and in. And this time it's G.G. Jackson for Memphis.
And I wasn't watching that shot. I was watching the great defense there by Cody.
Oh, I love that.
The defense change direction.
Cody tries to bring it up against Wells. Wells knocks it away and loose ball. An 8-second violation on the Jazz as Jalen Wells got into Cody Williams.
Guys like him who doesn't have the greatest handles, the best thing for them to do, David, set a guy up and go.
Yeah.
Boom. Keep him on that left shoulder or right shoulder, whatever, but go. Just don't let him continue to turn you one way or the other.
Substitutions for the Jazz. Adem Songo comes into the ball game for the first time, and Walt Clayton comes in. Clayton will guard Spencer. Collier and Clayton will play together. Nice game for Walt the other night with a bunch of assists as Spencer bounces left side. Hinton for three, no good. Rebound, grabbed by the Jazz. Here comes Sensabaugh far side. Off an early Songo drag screen. Goes to the left wing, rises, fires, short. Push off by Songo in the back of the Memphis Grizzlies big man is a foul. And that big man is Lovering, who played for the Utes last year out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. He's probably got a good amount of friends here. Played for Utah Prospects as an AAU kid. Hinton in the ball game along with Mashik for the Grizzlies. Spencer bringing it up under the pressure of Clayton. Works the left side of the floor. Skip pass over the top. Wells, quick release three. Rattles out. Rebound tipped out of bounds to the corner. Jazz ball. In the ball game for the first time is Nate Hinton. He's played 38 NBA games in his career, but boy, has he traveled. I mean, he's played for Long Island, Santa Cruz, Rio Grande, Texas, Fort Wayne, Cleveland Charge, all just in the G League. Isaiah coast to coast against pressure to the basket, sits on the cup. Foul called, ball stays on the cup, tantalizing the crowd, and then falls off to the side.
With the speed, just unable to finish at the rim. But you can just see now, and he was this way last year, where he's strong enough to take the bump, the hit, and still finish at the rim with a comfortable shot. Sometimes guys get hit, throws them offline there, and then it makes it awfully tough to make a shot there.
Front row on the Jazz, watching the Jazz across from their bench, Keontae George, Will Hardy, Sean Jones, Fema Hyluk, Oscar Shibwe with a cowboy hat,
Yeah, he just walked in.
Justin Zanuck, Bart Taylor, Jason Terry, Dr. Kimmons, other members of the front office, including Danny Ainge and Jason Terry's cute kid.
Austin was
Katie
over there.
there as well, I think, now that the official moves. And Austin Ainge just sat back down in the chair. Left side Wells for three. Got it. .507 left. Whatever happened there, Scott Morrison said he wanted it for halftime. Bailey drives the left side, shoved that, and then passes it off. Ron Boone, someone's just tuning in. Ace Bailey's got an early bucket. What's your thoughts on what you've seen out of him so far?
Well, he doesn't get a chance right now to play with the ball in his hands that much. Everything that he's been able to, or the looks that he's been able to get, have been within the offense.
Collier, high pick and roll. Into the lane, sweeps through with a left hand, reach in foul on the Grizzlies. Collier goes back to the line. Much more aggressive Isaiah Collier tonight.
And I think it's because of the ball pressure that they're putting on him that he's taking advantage of the Memphis guards being that overly aggressive to the point where I'm going to take you off the dribble. I'm going to get you in foul trouble. I'm going to try to score to him.
On the other side of the floor, across from us, the Jazz have Avery Bradley, Jazz assistant Sean Sheldon, the challenger George Rodman, Jeff Hornacek, Chad Forcier, all tuned in watching, along with the Utes women's head coach sitting in that group, Rich Cho and Tayshaun Prince previously mentioned.
So since you mentioned the swimming coach, I was looking at the number of retired jerseys up here. And most of them are basketball. I did see a volleyball player and a women's basketball.
Well, I think there'll probably be a few more women's basketball retired here in the next few years. I would think there's a member of the Minnesota Lynx who's probably going to go up there. Is Keely?
I would think so as well.
5 minutes left first quarter. It's the Grizzlies 21, the Jazz 11. In Summer League game number 2. High pick and roll for Spencer. Left side to hit. Backdoor cut. Masha kicks to the corner. 3 ball. Up and out. Rebound Sensive on the near side. Wells missed it. Outlet pass by Bryce is a turnover. And then Bryce arguing with the official as Wells gets the outlet pass and lays it up and in. And now a technical foul on Sensive. So Bryce thought he deserved a foul call on the outlet pass, turned and argued after he turned it over to the official. Then the outlet pass went to Wells. Bryce late to get back, fouls Wells, who finishes, and Bryce gets a technical.
Yeah,
not a super sequence.
This official is not hesitate to call a technical foul, huh?
.24-11. Well, Ron Boone, maybe I was sitting with Jeff Hornacek the other night. He was like, Memphis is going to kill everyone in this tournament. Collier's inbound pass to Clayton. Passes to the corner. Sends him off for 3. Good.
I think that was me, David.
Oh, was it you?
These guys they were just manhandling and on the inside and outside, yes.
Foul on the left side on Collier. That's his 3rd. You get 10. And Isaiah's going to use them all, but right now Elijah Harkless comes in. These minutes might be as important as much as the fans want to see an Ace Bailey and a Walt Clayton. In regards to a career, these might be more important minutes from anyone. Elijah Harkless defending Wells now, an NBA player, started 74 games this year. See what he can do to him.
And the reason for that, Dave, is because the way you play here might get you invited back to camp.
Right side
for some guys.
Mashing. Inside, knocked away and stolen. Jazz have it. Harkless got a hand on it. And then Sensive throws it away again.
Yeah, he looked over his right shoulder to see if someone was coming from the backside and ends up throwing it away.
4 minutes left. First quarter, 24-14. Second turnover on Sensive. 1 also on Collier. Jazz have 3. High pick and roll Spencer. Working left to right. And a moving pick by Lovering. Alex Jensen in the house, Feud head coach, men's team. Along with Wes Wilcox, his general manager. All these teams have general managers now to manage the recruiting and the NIL and everything else. Clayton, guarded by Spencer. Clayton Gives it to Songo at the top of the circle. One dribble to his left. Stop. Trying to get rid of it. We have a whistle on a foul. It's going to be on Memphis for getting handsy on the far side. 24-14. Memphis has shot it well. 8 of 12. Jazz are 4 of 10. Memphis has 5 threes as well. Ace Bailey checks back in the ballgame. Or has not checked out of the ballgame. Inbound pass trying to get to Ace. Gets knocked away and stolen. Fleming Jr. into the front court. Stops at the elbow. Fades back and rocks it home.
Nothing wrong with that shot. So Alexander from Oklahoma City, you know that guy, right?
Yeah, I heard him.
It's one of his favorite shots there as well. Little mid-range jump.
Left wing Bailey for 3, short. And the rebound comes down to Jeremy Jones, who might have the best career story of anyone in this ballgame. We'll get to it in a bit. Spencer left side. Spencer lobbing it down low, lovering with a layup, and Memphis leads at 26-14. Having a hard time getting in. Bailey comes back to bail him out. Now takes it with a left-hand dribble. Gets body bump. Kicks to the corner, and Sensabaugh gets hit hard. Body flying into him to prevent him from doing anything. 3:02 left. Filipowski will check in for Ace. Ace plays 7 minutes, goes 1 of 3, has 3 points, no rebounds, and no assists.
Well, I can't foul out of this ball game. I'm gonna get after a defense.
The league's gonna give you 10 fouls. They are inviting you to play defense. Clayton leans it out and over the right shoulder of Sensabaugh into the backcourt. Bryce has to try to save it for the second straight time. Walt Clayton is unable to get the ball in bounds. Guys just don't know each other very well, and they don't understand. They don't seem to understand each other's routes. Clayton very frustrated on the last 2. He inbounded to Bailey and Sensabaugh and couldn't convert either. And Jazz are a frustrated group as we come to the timeout. 28-14. Memphis doubling up on Utah with 2:59 left first quarter on the Salt Lake City Summer League.
Making it on the Korn Ferry Tour means they can make it on the PGA Tour.
His 3rd victory this season.
Meet the newest PGA Tour winner, Matt McCarty.
That time in Mexico.
The Korn Ferry Tour returns July 31st through August 3rd at Ogden Golf and Country Club for the Utah Championship, hosted by the Utah Sports Commission and presented by Zions Bank and Intermountain Health. For tickets and info, visit UtahChampionship.com.
If a small budget's cramping your big summer plans, consider a low-rate home equity line of credit from America First Credit Union. Right now, with a new HELOC, you'll get an introductory 4.49% APR for the first 6 months. And that means more cash to get stuff done. Helping your money do more means helping you do more. So apply for a limited-time HELOC at AmericaFirst.com today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to eligibility, terms, conditions, creditworthiness, and change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Think you know Nu Skin? Think again. We're more than a leading beauty and wellness company. We're devoted to helping you look, feel, and live better. And we're more than an opportunity for a global force of entrepreneurs. We're a proud Utah business that cares about our community. Because Nu Skin is a force for good, you'll find us cheering for the Jazz with the same passion we use to help and inspire people worldwide. Nu Skin. Learn more about who we are at nuskin.com.
All right, I think you're back now.
Utah Jazz getting doubled up here by Memphis. What's Memphis doing, Ron?
Memphis is getting after you defensively, and their shots are, how do I put this? They're I won't say uncontested, but they're getting some pretty good shots. Like that would have been a better pass than that layup. You know, they're just getting more clear, uncontested shots on the floor right now.
Cam Spencer started them with 3 early threes. And that caused the Jazz to fall behind, and they're still down 14. Filipowski the top. Right side to Clayton, the rookie. 18th pick of the draft out of Florida. Mid-block right, Filipowski spins to the baseline. Double team. Bounces back out to Scott Morrison. That's a turnover. And Isaiah Collier's coming back in the game. And Scott Morrison,
Very upset with.
yes,
Yes.
with Walt Clayton Jr. And they
So
told
Muhammad has been here this summer, huh?
I don't know if he has, but he's here now.
First time I've seen him.
They wouldn't let Collier come in the game. Be interesting to watch Clayton Jr. and see how he deals with this. Kind of was admonished right there, and now he's got to stay out on the floors. Missed shot by Memphis, but the Jazz turn it over on the rebound. Back inside to Fleming, and he's fouled. Not a particularly strong performance by Utah yet tonight. That'll send Collier and Cody Williams ready to check back in the ballgame. Jazz traded John Collins today. And frankly, this group of youngsters we're watching right now are going to go home at the end of Summer League when they leave Vegas and realize they are going to be front and center for the big show.
So John Collins goes to the Clippers.
Yes.
Help? Does he help them?
I mean, I think so. Depth is really important, and John's good, so I would think so. I do think, some of those games are going to be a little bit more high profile than he's been playing the last 2 years with Utah, and we'll see how he does. Songo, left side to Hart, 3-ball, good, and they wave it off. He swung his legs out on the 3, and they rule it an offensive foul. Scott Morrison looks back at Justin Mazzulla. And Justin Mazzulla is playing the role of the challenger. George Rodman sitting courtside wondering whether he should challenge. Sean Sheldon sitting next to him, and the Jazz decide not to. 29-14. Harkless defending tightly on Poulin of the Memphis Grizzlies point guard. He drives in the lane, hangs with a right-hand floater and scored it.
Well, good shot, and I thought the defense was excellent. You make players make tough shots. I mean, what else can you do?
Well, that's also you've talked about as the guard. You got to go somewhere. If someone's in on you like that, you got to go somewhere.
Got to go somewhere, absolutely.
And Harkless drives here, going somewhere, gets fouled and finishes.
Yeah. The big thing is not letting a defender continue to turn you back and forth, forcing you to go behind your back and between your legs. Just set him up. Go get it over the timeline. Get it so you
This might be too basic. I like to talk about it as owning your space.
Okay, we'll use that, David.
Right? Like if you own your space, if they own your space, you're backpedaling, you're retreating, they're in your space. That could be on rebounds, it could be on dribbles, it could be setting a pick, it could be anywhere. Do you own your space?
Okay, I like that.
Thank you. We're getting along. 31-17, 128 left first quarter.
After 20 years.
Cody Williams pressuring Poulin this time. He drives in the lane, hangs in the air, misses. And an offensive foul as Harkless slid underneath Poulin and took the charge. The other one that gets interesting here, you pressure like this, Ron, that's now 2 plays in a row they have not run anything. Right? So nobody on their team has now touched the ball for the last 2 plays because the pressure of the Jazz defense.
Yeah.
Collier bobbling the dribble, loses control of it, and throws it away.
No, he actually lost control of the ball twice. Sometimes the ball dribbles you. Is that one phrase you said?
Sometimes you dribble the ball, sometimes the ball dribbles you.
And that's exactly what happened there.
Cody picking up Poulin, left side. They swing it over. Inside. Pump faking once, twice. G.G. Jackson rises up and dunks it. Collier. High pick and roll with Filipowski. Hesitates on the left side. Retreats out with a high right-hand dribble. Now attacked. Lowers the shoulder, loses the ball. Songo picks it up, goes back up and scores it. An accidental assist for Isaiah Collier. 33-19 Memphis. Harkless up on Poulin. Swings back to the top of Jackson. Guarded by Cody. Turn around, fadeaway jumper, no good. G.G. Jackson's never seen a shot he doesn't like. Shot clock's off. 20 seconds left in the quarter. Filipowski driving and draws the foul.
And there's a perfect example of what I was talking about. He never let the defender turn him. He kept him on that left shoulder, continued to pound his way to the basket.
You know what he really did well there, Ron? You know what he did really, really well?
He got the rebound.
He owned his space.
He owned his space. Okay. You got to remember that, David. I'm sorry.
I mean, it really had been a while since I brought it up.
About a minute and a half. Yeah, that's a while.
How old are you? Early signs. We're always looking for the indicator that you've slipped every offseason. Maybe it was right there. I doubt it. Bragging about your golf game beforehand, like you're feeling good. You're healthy and looking good.
I guarantee you, me and your wife are going to beat you and your daughter.
My daughter and I are not always the best of teammates, so that might be accurate. Though if my daughter can link the 66 you threw up on the board when she plays with me, not
She's
just
got to give up strokes, though, David. Don't forget about that.
The comment the other day was, it'd be nice if you could get a little better so I don't have to give you a stroke every hole.
Oh, really? She said that to you, huh?
She's a plus 2.5. I'm a 13. It's pretty close to a stroke every hole. 33-21, 8 seconds left in the quarter. Pruitt. One-on-one on Filipowski. Step back jumper. Good. Long three by Collier is a heave. Will not go into the scorebook. They're now trying this in the G League. And we get to the Summer League to not count these shots. So that heave by Collier doesn't go in and will not count against his shooting percentage. It's 35-21. We got a special guest coming back here in a second, hopefully. If nothing else, I'll just say hi to him. That'll be a tease here on Utah Jazz Basketball Summer League.
97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Home isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. Like curling up in a comfy chair while it's cold outside, with a warm drink, or maybe even a wine in hand. As you watch the world go by outside your window.
Short rib.
Good afternoon, this is your captain speaking.
Which is why at Delta, our people do our best to make you feel at home. Refill? Long before you get there. Delta, keep climbing.
Hey, Jazz fans, basketball is back, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets, so you can be a part of all the courtside celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Jazz games, the Utah Hockey Club, or to any other local live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the Utah Jazz. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
Helping your money do more